Hi cuties, my name is Hanako Kozumi and this is the channel Nerdy Nekoma. Everything here is about Haikyuu chat stories and fanfic. Thanks for joining us today. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. And with that, welcome to today's video, in other words, the final part of The Bottoms Get Nightmares. Today's video features BokuAka and KogaGoshi, which is the ship that is Kogane and Goshiki, and yeah, it's my first time writing it. I hope you will like it. And now, let's go. Enjoy. Have you ever had struggles finding good Haikyuu merch or anime merch in general? Because I for sure did. It can be hard. But this shop offers amazing merch. Like, I'm literally obsessed with the Haikyuu merch. They have the cutest hoodies ever. Now, if you want to get 10% off, click the link in the description. They offer me a collaboration, which is literally amazing. And you support my channel this way. So, win-win. Let's go. Apathy-kun, you're back! The Silverheart's enthusiasm still surprised Akashi, especially since it didn't match the rest of his appearance. Sure, it was hard to imagine his face with another expression than his characteristically bright smile, but the dark shadows under his eyes and his pale skin didn't share that sentiment. He looked even more tired than the last time he was here. It was hard to think of Bokuto as fragile, yet when he looked at how much weight he had lost, yet again, nothing else came to mind. At this point, he was barely more than skin and bones. Akashi bit the inside of his cheek. Part of him wondered why he was still coming here at all. He hated hospitals, and people like Bokuto were one of the reasons. To see something so horrible happen to such a good person hurt. Getting attached to said person was hell. Apathy-kun, are you here to get your scarf back? His smile hadn't faded one bit as he offered the piece of fabric to the other. It's Akashi, Bokuto-san. And no, you can keep it for a bit longer. Thanks, Akashi! Why was his happiness so contagious when it only made fate look so much worse? Oh, do we want to go and play volleyball today? He was about to climb out of the bed, seemingly oblivious to the insecurity in his own movements as he shakily got up. Akashi was quick to walk over to his side. Maybe another time, Bokuto-san. A small smile tucked his lip upwards, immediately lightening Bokuto's mood again. He was about to argue. But I brought Cloud Atlas and Strawberry Pocky, in case you want some. Are you kidding me? Of course I do. They are my favorite. They cuddled up under navy blue blankets in the hospital bed together, and Akashi started the movie. It must have been the 100th time that Bokuto watched it. After all, he found the other time and time again watching the same movie when he woke up. Today was no exception. He tried to fight the tiredness. It felt so unfair to him to sleep while Bokuto next to him couldn't. Moreover, it was literally the thing killing him. But he failed. And when he woke up, Bokuto was still awake. He looked off into the distance. The movie was on pause before him, and for the first time since he got to know him, Keiichi saw him sad. A single tear rolled on his cheek and fell, coincidentally landing on Akashi's hand that was still resting above his chest. The taller quickly wiped it away, though when he looked at Akashi, he paused. Hey. He smiled, but it wasn't as convincing anymore. Hey. He gulped. I'm sorry. What for? Everything, I guess. I know it's not easy being friends with me. That wasn't true. It was easy. Being friends with Bokuto was the easiest thing in the world. It came naturally to him, like it was never meant any other way. Yet, that was exactly the problem. It was impossible not to be friends with him. Impossible not to be affected by his story. Impossible to turn away. Bokuto-san. I know. It's just... I wish I could have met you before I was like this. No, I mean, I wish I would have met you and never gotten sick. I wish we could have met in another life. More tears fell, and Akashi was at a loss for words. What was he supposed to do? Bokuto had never before shown his grief about his situation this openly. He hid it so well that at first Akashi thought he might not even know what his future, his very short future, would look like. It's just... why me? Yes, why him? Out of all the people it could have been, why him? It's not like this was something you would wish upon even your worst enemy, but Bokuto was certainly the wrong person. Akashi had never met anyone more honest, more enthusiastic, or more kind. Because life isn't fair, Bokuto-san. It wasn't. Not when someone like him suffered so greatly despite never having done something terribly wrong, despite being the kindest person to have ever lived. When Akashi finally woke up, his cheeks were wet with tears. It took him a moment to regain orientation as he blinked against the darkness, more than glad to find himself in his bedroom rather than the hospital. Just the thought of the fleeting memories from his dream made him shiver. He sat up slowly. With the memories came new tears, and he took a shaky breath in a poor attempt to calm himself. What in hell was that? He pulled his knees to his chest, suddenly overwhelmed by panic and grief. Blindly, he reached for his phone, almost shoving it from the nightstand before getting a hold of it. He found Bokuto's contact effortlessly, it's the first one on his list, and dialed the number without hesitation. It rang a couple of times before... Kashi? Why aren't you asleep? Because you called me? He sounded groggy and still tired, but that changed quickly when he heard the first sob tearing the silence. Keiji, are you crying? You should be asleep. His sobs were getting louder and he didn't know what to do with himself anymore. Hey, shh. Okay. It's alright. I will sleep. If you tell me what's going on. Nothing. Keiji, I don't believe you for a second. He could hear the smile in his voice, mixed with concern. I'm coming over. No, you need to sleep. How can I sleep when I know that something's wrong and you won't tell me what? If I tell you, will you stay home? The aide grumbled something incoherent under his breath, but it sounded suspiciously a lot like, not fair, that's extortion. Fine. Except, of course you wouldn't agree right away. If you're injured or in danger. The latter would be even more of a reason to stay away, but gladly neither was the case, so he didn't have to fight him on that just yet. I'm not. Don't worry. His voice was still a bit shaky, but he could feel how just talking to Bokuto already calmed him down. Then what is it? Just a nightmare. I know it's silly to get all worked up about it. No, it's not. I'm sure if I would ever get one, I would totally freak out. Like, imagine dreaming about losing a game and not qualifying for the tournament. I wouldn't be able to stay calm after that. A small smile tugged at the setter's lips. To think that that was the worst he could come up with from the top of his head. It just proved how optimistic he was. Maybe even a bit naive, though he didn't think that was it. The Bokuto from his dream wasn't naive either, even though everyone thought so at first too. He just did the best with the cards he was dealt. Kotaro. Immediately, the ace stopped rambling, intrigued that the other would suddenly use his first name. He had never done that, but it sounded so much more beautiful coming from him. His heart skipped a beat. Yes? Please, never change. I don't intend to. Confusion underlined his words, but Akashi just smiled. Good night, Bokuto-san. Wait. You promised me you would go to sleep again after this. So, are you feeling better then? Yes, thanks for helping me. I'm sorry that I kept you awake. No problem. Akashi bit his lip, because yes, it was a problem. Good night, Bokuto-san. Wait. What is it, Bokuto? Can you call me Kotaro again? It sounds nice coming from you. Don't push your luck. Mean. You're so whiny for a third grader. There was a huff on the other end of the line and Akashi laughed. Good night, Kotaro. He hung up. Koganegawa admired the relaxed expression of his sleeping boyfriend. It was rare to see him this at ease, and even rarer that he allowed himself to be vulnerable in his presence. They had a movie night planned, but in the middle of the second film, Goshiki had fallen asleep on his lap. Afraid that he might wake up, the toddler turned off the TV, wanting to savor this moment just a little longer. It was truly rare to see him like this. The young ace had never been a touchy person, but somehow Kogane got the feeling there was more to it. Before he could do any attempt to continue in this train of thought, a quiet whimper caught his attention. Goshiki's expression shifted into something more tense, like he was uncomfortable or in pain. Concern flashed over Kogane's face as he observed the other closely. Tsutomu? He gently shook his shoulder in hopes that it would wake him up. What an irony that he would change his mind this quickly. But this wasn't the moment he wished to hold on to anymore. Not when Goshiki was uncomfortable or even in pain. He wasn't sure what was going on, but he would do his best to make him smile again. Tsu, wake up. He tried again, more urgently after seeing the tears assembling in his eyes. Tsu. Suddenly, his eyes snapped open and he looked around. His heart was beating rapidly and his breathing was shallow. Hey, it's okay. He tried pulling him closer in his typical fashion, but before his arms could close around him, he was shoved away. Tsu, stop that! He let his arms sink to his sides and tried not to let the hurt show on his face. Stop what? this whole worried thing. But I am worried about you. I'm not weak. Kogane faltered. He looked taken aback, and for a moment it rendered him speechless. Goshiki turned his back towards him, and as subtle as he could, wiped the tears away. I never said that. I just thought you looked like you were having a nightmare. I'm not a child. I know. It was more whisper than anything else. That took Goshiki off guard. Usually people would argue with him. If he shouted, they did too, and Koganegawa was always the loud one of the two of them. Not now. Right now he was quiet, and it was almost eerie to see that, the usually so expressive setter, meek like that. Hesitantly, Goshiki turned around. Guilt sank into his heart as he saw the other avoiding his gaze. Kanji, I'm sorry. He clenched his hands into fists. I'm sorry. You just caught me off guard. I didn't mean to... What happened? Goshiki pressed his lips together and shook his head. Even if he tried it, no word would escape his mouth. Okay. He offered him a hand, which the spiker took hesitantly. You can talk to me, you know? He said nothing, but nodded, allowing Kogane to pull him down on the couch again, but avoided his embrace. The other side. Come on, maybe we should get ready for bed. He was about to get up, but Goshiki stopped him, their hands still intertwined. Can we maybe watch another movie? A small smile tugged Kogane's lips upwards, and he nodded. Sure, which one do you want? He sat down beside him, well aware that this was to distract him from whatever horror had haunted his dreams, even if Goshiki couldn't say it. He would wait until he was ready to talk. Thank you for watching to the end. I hope you liked it. Yay, the series is over. Though, yeah, as I mentioned, that makes me also always a bit emotional. I had a lot of fun writing this series. If you want more like this, tell me in the comments so that I know. Also, this was my first time writing KogaGoshi. I got most of my inspiration from videos from Haikyuu Smirk, so I would really advise you to check that out. That was my whole research material for their dynamics. And yes, I'm indeed not sorry for the In Another Life references. I mean, maybe a tiny bit. I did cry when reading it again. But, hey, this was to be expected. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful and amazing day. On a side note, I'm sorry that I didn't upload this video yesterday as it was planned, but it's extremely hot here and I cannot think.